Welcome to Creepy Couples, the podcast where every week me, Rolando Hernandez, is going to tell my wife, Ariana, a story about a serial killer, crime, paranormal activity, story, or an interesting event that she or me has brought up. How are you doing today?
Good. But just because we already recorded so many, not so many, but quite a few of these, you always say that what would you say, that her or me brought up?
Mm-hmm. But it's just me.
But it's technically, well, I mean, I tell you things during the week, but it's what her and I brought up. But like, since you said it wrong the whole time, I think it's funny, and I just keep it and just say it that way the rest of the time because
Sure, we can keep it like that.
Because I'm pretty sure it's her and I, but I don't know. We'll ask Mommy when she listens to this podcast.
Me, Irene, and myself. Me, Irene, and myself.
Yep. Wait, what?
Me, Irene, and myself. You never seen that movie?
No.
Jim Carrey?
I think so.
Oh my god.
I don't watch a lot of Jim Carrey, to be honest with you.
You gotta watch it.
I'm more of an Adam Sandler girl.
I know. You and your grown-ups.
Oh, all his movies, so. Just go with it. All that stuff. So.
Alright. There have been a lot of movies based on serial killers. Just to give you some examples, there's the movie Monster, based in Aileen Wuornos, female. I was gonna say female. Female serial killer. Thank you. Female serial killer. That I honestly don't think of her as a serial killer, but more of a spree killer. She was responsible of killing 6 men within like 3 months. So it was more of a spree. Silence of the Lambs, which while making this, I realized that I've never seen the movie.
I don't think I have either.
But I know the characters.
I don't think I've seen it. I don't know. Me and Mommy have watched a lot of scary movies, but I don't know if I've seen that one.
Okay, do you know this fact? That Silence of the Lambs was actually based on the Mexican doctor Alfredo Bali Treviño?
No.
Now you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Sounded like a commercial.
I know. But such as things in Hollywood, they like to be a little bit more dramatic. And by a little, I mean a lot. Like a lot. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Edward Theodore Gein, a.k.a. the Butcher of Plainfield. Or how you should probably know him, the guy from the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I watched that movie.
Have you ever seen it?
I don't remember it a lot, but I know that Suli, when she babysat me, she put it on for me once. I don't remember how old I was. I was obviously still young enough to have a babysitter. But she also got me into Rebelde, the novela.
Oh my god!
And we would watch La Familia Peluche. Yeah, that was.
I'm down for Familia Peluche, but not Rebelde.
I loved Rebelde, and that's the reason I loved it. Cause she would put it on, and we'd watch Rebelde together. Shout out to Suli, best babysitter.
That's weird. But anyway,
why is that weird?
Not weird, but just strange for me that you like Rebelde.
Why?
Because this is a nonsense novela.
I love novelas.
I know you do.
But yes, I did see it. I don't remember the whole thing. I haven't seen it. I don't think since then, but I could be wrong.
All right. Well, Ed, how I'm going to refer to him, was born in La Crosse County, Wisconsin on August 27th of 1906. He was an American murderer, suspected serial killer, and body snatcher. I like that word, body snatcher. I don't know
why. Are you a secret serial killer and I don't know?
Probably.
Dumb.
But before we get into what made Ed commit such atrocities, I'm going to tell you about his background so we can understand his past. His father, George Philip Gein, was an alcoholic who was unable to keep a job. He had worked at various times as a carpenter, tanner, which this skill helped him in the future. Now, I didn't know what a tanner was.
I don't know what that is either.
Tanner is the person in charge of treating skins and hides of animals to produce leather.
Oh.
No more you know. An insurance salesman.
You just hit your mic.
Sorry. George owned besides being a tanner, an insurance salesman.
He sold insurance too and made leather.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really go together, but okay.
Whatever. George owned a local grocery shop for a few years, but he sold the business, and the family left to the city to live in isolation on a 155-acre family in the town of Plainfield, Wisconsin.
125-acre family.
55.
55
155-acre farm.
You said family.
Okay. 155-acre farm.
Oh, okay. I was like 155-acre family. That's a big family.
That's a giant family, bro. Yeah, in Wisconsin. In the other hand, his mother, Augusta Wilhelmine Gein, hated her husband.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She took advantage of the farm's isolation by turning away outsiders who could have influenced her sons. She was fervently religious, nominally Lutheran. She was hard Lutheran. Lutheran, thank you. She preached to her boys about the innate immorality of the world, the evil in drinking, and her belief that all women, apart from herself, because religion, were naturally promiscuous and instruments of the devil. So all women are bad, except me.
Okay. I mean, it's probably true. They're all toxicas out there.
Even the toxicas, they're like, I'm not a toxica.
No,
Fucking
you're not
bitches
married
on
to
los
one.
peores.
You're not married to one, though.
She reserved time every afternoon to read to them from the Bible, usually selecting verses from the Old Testament and the Book of Revelation, focusing in parts where death, murder, and divine retribution were the main subject. She was such a religious person that Augusta made both of her sons promise to always remain virgins.
That's weird. Okay. Yeah. I mean, usually they're telling that to like women or their girl sons, the daughters, not the girl sons. That came out wrong.
Yeah, not on this one. And this one was the other way around.
It's like she was in love with her, like in love with her children, not just loved her.
In
children.
A weird way, yeah.
Yeah.
Gein had an older brother, Henry George Gein, which was born in 1901 but died in 1944 under mysterious circumstances. Let me explain. On May 16 of 1944, of 1944, Henry and Ed were burning away marsh vegetation of the property. The fire got out of control, drawing the attention of the local fire department. By the end of the day, the fire being extinguished and the firefighters gone, Ed reported his brother missing. With lanterns and flashlights, a search party searched for Henry, whose dead body was found lying face down. Apparently, he had been dead for some time, and it appeared that the cause of death was heart failure, since he had not been burned or injured otherwise. But years later, it was reported by biographer Harold Schechter that Henry had bruises on his head. The police back then dismissed the possibility of foul play, and the county coroner later officially listed asphyxiation as the cause of death. The authorities accepted the accident theory, but no official investigation was conducted and an autopsy was never performed.
Autopsy
Was never performed. So
how are they saying he died? Like, it was just natural causes then, or
first heart attack and then
he
asphyxiation from the smoke, but then they realized that he had bruises on his head.
I thought they said that he died way before the smoke or the fire. So how can he asphyxiate?
There's a reason why at the beginning when I said this, it said that he died under mysterious circumstances. Mysterious. Circumstances. Okay. All right. In 1957, state investigator Joe Wilimovsky brought up questions about Henry's death. George W. Arnott, who studied the case, wrote in retrospective, "It was possible and likely that Henry's death was the Cain and Abel aspect of this case."
Was the what?
Cain and Abel
Okay.
aspect of this case.
All right. It's because you kind of mumbled it all together, so
Okay,
I couldn't
sorry.
understand what you were saying.
So we have a little bit of his background, right? All right, let's go back with it. Ed only left the farm to attend school, and classmates and teachers remembered him as being shy, having strange mannerisms such as simulating random laughter, as he was laughing at his own personal jokes.
In his head?
Mhm.
Okay. What happened to the mom? I thought they didn't go into public.
No. Earlier I said that the only time they left
Oh, it was for school.
for school. That's it.
Okay.
No other
I
reason.
don't remember that, but okay. You don't have to go back.
Okay.
I believe you. I think it's just me not remembering things.
Probably. Yeah, so they only left for school.
Okay.
To make matters worse, his mother punished him whenever he tried to make friends. Despite his poor social development, Gein did fairly well in school, particularly in reading. At age 7, Ed witnesses his parents slaughter a hog in the shed behind the family store, where he experienced an ejaculation upon viewing this, which I can clearly say this is the second factor in the McDonald triad.
The second what?
The second is the second factor in the McDonald triad.
What's the McDonald's try?
Thank you for asking. I have it here. I actually have it as a little side note in case somebody wanna ask about the McDonald triad.
Because I'm an uneducated bitch.
It's okay. I have to look for it too. So the McDonald triad, also known as a triad of sociopathy or the homicidal triad, is a set of 3 factors, the presence of any of 2 of which are considered to be predictive of or associated with violent tendencies, particularly with relation to serial offenses. The trial was first proposed by psychiatrist J.M. McDonald. It's not a combo of McDonald's.
I thought McDonald's like
No.
the franchise.
No, it's not. This is by psychiatrist J.M. McDonald.
That's why I wanted to know what was the McDonald's
The-
triad, because I thought it was McDonald's like the food, the fast food
So-
restaurant.
The triad links cruelty to animals,
Okay.
obsession with fire setting,
Oh, he set the fire then.
and persistent bedwetting past a certain age, to violent behaviors, particularly homicidal behavior and sexually predatory behavior. So he has 2.
Oh, so he's psycho.
So he has cruelty to animals,
Mm-hmm.
fire setting.
Yes.
So we got 2 of the 3, probably, right? Alright.
I'm sure he probably has all 3.
He probably had all 3, yeah. But all right. On April 1st, 1940, Ed's father George died of a heart attack failure, caused by his alcoholism at age 66. Henry, being now 39, so we went a little bit back. Henry being now 39 and Ed being now 31, began doing odd jobs around town to help covering living expenses. The brothers were generally considerably reliable and honest by residents of the community. While both worked as handymen, Ed also frequently babysat for neighbors. He enjoyed babysitting, seeming to relate more easily to children than adults. Henry began dating a divorced mother of 2 and planned to move in with her. He worried about his brother's attachments to their mother and often spoke ill of her around Ed, who responded with shock and hurt. So I think at this point we can clearly say he was a mama's boy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hands down,
For sure.
mama's boy. Ed and his mother were now alone. He left.
Mm-hmm.
Augusta had a paralyzing stroke shortly after Henry's death, and Ed devoted himself to taking care of her. Sometime in 1945, Ed later commented that he and his mother visited a man named Smith who lived nearby to purchase some hay. According to Ed, his mother witnessed Smith beating a dog. A woman inside the Smith home came outside and yelled at him to stop. But Smith kept beat the dog to death.
What the heck?
I know. Augusta was extremely upset by this scene. However, what bothered her more did not appear to be the brutality towards the dog, rather the presence of the woman. Augusta told Ed that the woman was not married to Smith, so she had no business doing there. This bothered Ed's mom so much that she started to calling her Smith harlot. I didn't know what harlot was until I had to look it up. It says it basically is a prostitute.
Yeah, that's a harlot.
I didn't know.
It's like the harlot. Is it the harlot? The letter A, the scarlet letter. That's the scarlet letter, but they kind of mean the same thing. Like, you're a hoe, you're a prostitute, you know.
No, never knew about that.
No.
No.
That was the back in the day terms.
Oh. Yeah, way back in the days. We're talking about the 40s here.
Well, that's the nice way of saying you're a hoe. Now we're just vulgar.
Probably. She had a second stroke soon after, and her health deteriorated rapidly. She died on December 29th of 1945 at the age of 67. Ed was devastated by her death. In his words, he had, and I quote, lost his only friend and one true love, and he was absolutely alone in the world.
Oh, dang. So he was like in love with his mom, not
Probably.
just like, ew.
Gein remained on the farm, supporting himself from odd jobs. He boarded up rooms used by his mother, including upstairs, downstairs room, living room, leaving them untouched. These rooms were never reopened again until his arrest. He lived in a small room next to the kitchen. So once his mom died, he basically shut off all the other rooms. He left them as they were.
Oh my god.
Because you can tell there's nothing good with this guy right now.
Yeah, he is crazy then, because
And there's pictures on the house on the inside where the whole house is a mess. Like, it's a complete mess, except those rooms, they're like completely clean.
well, yeah, because he left him how she left him, and so if she cleaned the house, then those rooms were clean. I mean, I'm sure they have dust. But.
Oh yeah, shit ton of dust, but still. He let loose. His parents started degrading. Neighbors commented on how bad it smelled.
Ew.
Yeah, like the smell is so bad that it can smell you from
outside your
from
house.
outside in a house, and your house is on a house that your property is 155 acres.
Yeah. So it just probably smelled like rotting person, like people rotting. But it was really just him not cleaning. That is gross, like all the mold, imagine.
I know. In 1947, driven by intense loneliness and what he had later say to be strange visions, he began to visit the cemetery where his mother was buried. After several visits, he began to dig up corpses.
What the fuck?
You never knew about Ed Gein?
No.
Oh wow! Welcome to Ed Gein. The first body he dug up was, guess.
His mom's.
Yes.
Duh, because he's a mama's boy.
The first body he dug up was his mother. He twisted her head off with his bare hands and shrunk it to similar way as his book spoke of keeping head as a trophy per se. You know those small heads that they used to do back in the day? Yeah.
The small head? What do you mean?
I'll show you later, but there's a culture, I don't remember the name, so don't quote me on that one, where they used to shrink heads as homage or as I don't know, it's something weird that they had, like weird for us, but they have their reasons why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
But they used to do it as a tradition. They used to grab corpses, shrink their heads, and carry them with them. It was weird.
That is weird.
Like,
wouldn't it stink?
I don't know. They probably did like what the Egyptians did, that they covered their
preserved
mummies
the body.
with salt and roses and all this stuff. Probably, I don't know. Keeping her head as a trophy per se. Gein began to create a woman suit so that he could become his mother to literally crawl into her skin.
That's gross.
we're just starting.
That's disgusting.
Between the years of 1947 and 1951, Ed began making nocturnal visits to as many as 40 cemeteries, frequently leaving without any offense. But on at least 9 occasions, Ed dug up the coffins of newly buried middle-aged women. He had scouted these women out in the obituaries. He would take what he wanted and recovered the violated graves.
That is gross.
We're just starting. Besides masturbation, Ed denies ever having a sexual experience in his life, and stated that he never had sex with cadavers because, and I quote, they smell too bad.
That's so disgusting.
His cravings and compulsion still fall under the category of necrophilia. So even though he didn't have sex,
even though he didn't actually do the deed, it's still considered necrophilia.
Yes.
Because he got off of dead bodies.
Yes.
That's gross. Like, who thinks, ooh, dead body, ooh.
An oddly increase in missing persons in the area began at this time as well, shocking police.
Oh, shit, so he kidnapped people.
Hold on. At this point, this does not suffice. Ed needs no more. He needed more. And he needed fresh bodies. So, he did. Ed visited a bar in Pine Grove, Wisconsin, a couple miles away from his home, owned by Mary Hogan several times. She was a middle-aged woman that looked much like Ed's mother, but had a foul mouth and a trashy history. Ed was captivated by her because of her resemblance to his mother, as well as the glaring difference between the two. The night of December 8th of 1954, he waited for all of her customers to leave. When he walked into the bar, Mary told him that she was closing. Ed did not reply and just walked over to her side by the bar. Before she could even speak or see what he was doing, Ed pulled out a .32 caliber pistol, put it to her head, and without any hesitation or warning, he fired the gun through her skull, killing her instantly.
Oh my god.
He dragged her body out of the sled, to a sled, that he had put outside before killing her. So he had already planned it. He dragged the body to a sled he had put outside before killing her. It took a couple of hours to drag Mary's body back to his farm.
Oh shit! So he dragged it from the bar to
all the way out to his house. Yeah.
Damn! And no one stopped and like saw this.
It was December. Wisconsin is fucking snowy as hell.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
The next day, police found a bullet cartridge matching a .32 caliber pistol. They also found overturned furniture and a pool of blood behind the bar. It took 3 years to identify Ed as Mary's killer. The day after he murdered her, while working with Elmo Ueck, he admitted to killing her and said that she had hung her up at his house. Elmo thought this was one of Ed's sick jokes, and he didn't believe him.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't believe people when they tell you, hey, I killed someone. Like, nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
You're fucking lying.
But
you know
then,
that meme, like, no, you're fucking lying. No, you're fucking lying.
Yeah, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
Yeah.
Like us between kids, like, well, I say kids as boys when we were younger. And, like, this one kid would be like, hey, fool, I already had sex. And you're like, you lying. Like, shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, you lying.
You're lying.
Tienes como 12 años. You're like, you're lying. No mames, güey. But because since the police hadn't found her body or any report of her missing, they didn't think that her case was a murder. So if it wasn't a murder, what the hell was it?
See, what is it then? Because, like, she just shot herself and walked away.
Yeah, I know. So, while the investigation was ongoing about Mary's disappearance, police asked about Mary's whereabouts. They asked Ed because they knew he was a regular at the bar, and without any hesitation, he said, she's up at the house right now. And indeed she was. Her head was later discovered in Gein's house.
Oh my god. But they didn't believe her? Or they didn't believe her?
They didn't believe him?
They didn't believe him
no.
that...
They thought he was
cuckoo-magoo.
joking. Yeah. There are a lot of speculation that Ed was involved in abduction and disappearances throughout the years, where he was desecrating tombs and killed his victims. There's no actual proof of that, but like I said, these are just speculations. Some other cases where they thought he was involved are a disappearance of an 8-year-old in May of 1947 by the name of Georgia Weckler, who disappeared without a trace, leaving no suspects, and the only clue that was found was tire tracks of a Ford that casually matched Gein's tire pattern in his Ford pickup truck. But it's circumstantial, you know. You can have the same. I can have the same tire patterns as someone else in Texas. You know, it's like,
I mean, yeah.
You can't do it.
I thought all tires were different, but okay.
No. In November of 1952, Victor, aka Bunk Travis, of 42 years, and his friend Ray Burgess disappeared with the car after spending several hours at a local bar in Plainfield. No trace of them or their car was ever found. While kidnapping was out of character for Ed Gein, police still suspected he had some role in their disappearance. Sorry. In October 1954, Evelyn Hartley, age 15, is abducted while babysitting for family friends. Her father found the body with signs of struggle, including her broken eyeglasses, bloodstains, and footprints. Her panties and bra were found 2 miles southeast of La Crosse, and 4 miles further, bloody pair of man pants was found. Her body was never found. But like I said, all these cases are just speculation. He never confirmed nor denied or found evidence of his involvement in these cases. Everything was circumstantial. The only thing he did confess was that he dug up Eleanor Adams, a 51-year-old who had been buried of August 26th of 1951.
That's it.
So,
this guy was crazy.
I know.
I mean, it was back in the day, so like their crime scene investigation stuff wasn't that great.
No.
Nowadays, you have so much technology that like catches everything.
Oh yeah, thank God.
Even like the pureness of the air that when they died. I'm just kidding. I don't know, but crazy shit.
I know. So between the first murder and the second, he just dug up Eleanor. While conducting my investigation, I looked in several places, and believe me, I looked everywhere. And most of them have a gap between 1954 and 1957, where he didn't commit any crimes or dug up bodies besides Eleanor. Honestly, I think he did, due to the amounts of artifacts made out of human bones and skin, which I'll get to those in a minute. All right. Tell me, this is a personal question. Do you believe in destiny or coincidence?
I don't know. I feel like I say things are more of a coincidence than destiny. So, I guess coincidence?
Coincidence?
I don't know. I really don't know the difference to really say.
Okay. All right. On November 15 of 1957, Ed went to a local hardware store by the name of International Harvest Products to ask Mrs. Warden, I want you to remember that name, Mrs. Warden, and her son Frank about the price of antifreeze. Now, there are usually people you don't want to mess with, or should I say, there are some sons you don't want to mess with. Mrs. Warden's son is one of them, and you will see why in the future. On November 16th of 1957, the very next day, Ed entered the store just as Mrs. Warden was closing. She didn't realize that Gein had walked in. He locked the front door behind him after he walked in. He went straight to the back and got a .22 caliber rifle from the wall. They used to sell rifles there. Ed had brought a bullet with him and put it in the gun. When Bernice saw Ed, without any word said or any type of warning, as he fired a shot straight to her head, killing her immediately. As well, he stole $41 from the register.
Back in the day, that was a lot, though.
That was a lot. That was a lot of money.
I mean, shoot, I'll take $41 right now, too.
I know. So the morning of November 17th, when Mrs. Warden didn't open her shop, it seemed weird that her shop was still closed. So a concerned customer contacted police to check on her. Police found a receipt for antifreeze made out to Edward Gein, the last sale of the day. So this was odd, so police decided to follow his lead. Frank remembered that Gein told him he would be back later to buy some antifreeze. Frank immediately suspected that Ed was behind his mother's disappearance. Sheriffs drove to Ed's house while Frank was looking for him at the local store. Frank actually found him, but at a coffee shop where he was finishing breakfast and questioned Gein about his mother. Gein's response was it cold? I had nothing to do with that. Frank didn't believe him and placed him into custody and brought him to a local jail and locked him in his cell.
Oh, shit. So Frank was a policeman?
Remember when I asked you believe in destiny coincidence? The officers in charge of investigating this disappearance were Sheriff Shiley and Deputy Frank Warden. Yep.
Okay.
Is his name? Yeah.
Police.
If this last name sounds familiar, if it does, it's because Deputy Warden is the son of Bernice Warden, the woman that Ed had killed the day prior. When police visited his farm, they found her body. She had been fatally shot and decapitated. Bernice Warden's headless body was found hanging upside down with her ankle slashed to a crossbeam. She was split open from the vagina to the sternum, field dressed like a deer. In addition, the police found human skulls affixed to the post of Ed's bed, a box of organs and masks. The masks were the skin portion of the head that had been stripped away from the skull and preserved. An entire quote-unquote suit made of pieced together skin of woman, complete with a vest with braces attached. Also discovered on the property was the head of Mary Hogan, the bartender that went missing in 1954. So he was serious when he said she's up in the house.
Well, no shit, we already knew that. So Frank discovered it all.
Yeah, he did.
For trying to find his mom.
I know.
And then he found her. Not the way he wanted to.
Yeah, but he found her.
That's traumatizing.
That
though.
is.
Like, you should not work on a case that's your family. Because then if something like that does happen, like you find their body, like,
that's
that
shocking.
is traumatizing.
Yeah.
Not shocking. That is traumatic.
Well, yeah, shocking.
Emotional damage. That is emotional damage.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. After remaining silent at first, Ed confessed to killing Mary Hogan and Bernice Warden. He told investigators, too, that between 1947 and 1952, he made over 40 nocturnal visits to 3 local graveyards to exhume recently buried bodies while he was in a dazed-like state. On about 30 of those visits, he said he came out of the daze while in the cemetery, left the grave in good order, and returned home empty-handed. On the other occasions, he dug up the graves of recently buried middle-aged women he thought resembled his mother and took the bodies home, where he tanned their skin to make this paraphernalia. So he learned that from his dad.
That is nasty. Oh my god.
You didn't realize that, huh?
No. Well, I mean, he's doing it to animals. I wouldn't think it's the same for humans. I mean, I don't know. They say we're very much alike with a lot of animals. So
I was about to say, I've heard that pork skin is the one that looks the most like human skin. There's tattoo artists that will buy skin of pigs and practice
pig
on
skin.
that.
Like, yeah.
I was like, what?
It is. It is similar.
I know.
I mean, if you look at it too, I mean, it has hair.
Yeah.
You know that pigs have hair, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen a pig up close?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had little piggies. My grandma had piggies. Mama Tila had piggies. And I remember them, and I liked all the baby piggies.
Of course you did.
They're cute.
The piglets, they're called piglets.
Yeah, the baby pigs. Piglet is from Winnie the Pooh, and I will never get that out of my face or out of my head. So,
Yeah. So an autopsy report revealed that Mrs. Warden died of a single gunshot wound to the back of the head. And November 19th, just 3 days, they were able to get a warrant to search his farm. The search of the 195-acre farm property began and lasted over a week. But just peeking through the window was how they saw Bernie's body. Like, they just went like, bloop, inside.
So he wasn't even like hiding.
No,
He
no
was
lo
just-
escondía.
Well,
When-
he was crazy. I don't think he cared. Like, I don't think he cared that he got caught.
Oh, no.
I don't think he was just like, whatever, dude.
When they started the search, they found way more artifacts. I'm going to give you some of the items that most shocked me. Obviously, they found way more stuff, but I'm going to share the most weird, shocking, or just straight up creepy ones. All right?
Okay.
A wastebasket made of human skin.
Ew.
Human skin covering several chair seats.
So like
These guys. So the
seat
seats,
covers
seat covers made of skin.
made out of human skin. That's gross.
Bowls made from human skulls.
Bowls like
Like a cereal bowl, yeah. Leggings made from human leg skin.
ew.
4 noses.
That's like putting the real term leggings into leggings.
Got a leggings made out of legs.
Ew. That's so gross.
4 noses. I don't know why 4 noses.
Oh, he only liked 4 out of however many
yeah.
women he got.
A belt made from female human nipples.
Oh.
Marcy's face mask in a paper bag. Marcy's skull in a box.
Okay.
Bernice's entire head in a burlap sack.
Okay.
And Bernice's heart in a plastic bag in front of Gein's potbelly stove.
It looks like he was gonna eat it or
He
something.
was probably going to eat it.
He was gonna cook that shit up.
Probably.
Yeah.
In November 22nd, Ed was taken before a judge, technically being with robbery for the $41 he stole from Mrs. Warden's store.
Not even for murder?
Hold on. The murder charge was held back in order to determine his sanity.
Oh, so he pled like insane.
He was insane.
He was insane.
It's not like he played like, ay, estoy loquito. No. Bro,
He
tú
legit-
estás loquito.
Because he got out. It's not like when some other people like they say, "Oh, I plead insanity," but they're like,
Pero no están
they
locos.
know from like right from
Sí,
wrong.
no,
Like,
saben que sí,
like
sí, sí.
this guy gets off on watching a pig get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like that's
Even-
fucking.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
That is like there's already something like a chemical imbalance or something in that
Yeah.
man's head.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. In the next couple weeks, Ed was interviewed and examined to determine his sanity. The psychologist and psychiatrist who interviewed Ed asserted that he was schizophrenic and I quote, a sexual psychopath.
Well, yeah, because he got off on the weird shit.
Ed complained of memory deficits during an interview with Dr. E.F. Schubert at Central State Hospital. Ed was interviewed by Dr. E.F. Schubert. Schubert found that he had a, and I quote, abnormally magnified attachment to his mother.
Told you.
As well, the graves that Ed supposedly robbed were opened. The grave of Mrs. Adams was found empty. One of the many bodies he stole. Deputies found more bones buried in trench on Ed's farm. One skull had a gold tooth, and it was believed to be a skull of a man. That's why they think Ed was involved in the disappearance of Victor and Ray. Remember when I was talking to you earlier? Of the many cases that they thought he was involved, that 2 men went disappearing?
You told me about the girl.
I told you a couple. I told you like 4 or 5.
I don't remember.
Okay.
The men.
In December 17 of 1957, the judge received a packet from Central State Hospital stating that Ed was insane and should be permanently committed to the hospital. In the first week of January, of 1957, Ed's sanity hearing took place, declaring him legally insane. He was recommitted to Central State Hospital indefinitely. So the plea was he was insane.
No shit.
His possessions were scheduled to be auctioned on March 30th, 1958.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Early,
I said, oh shit, yeah, because he can't go back.
Yeah. Early on the morning of March 20th, the house was destroyed by a fire. A deputy fire marshal reported that a garbage fire had been set 75 feet from the house by a cleaning crew who were given the task of refuse.
What?
Disposing
of
of his paraphernalia that he had. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That hot coals were recovered from the spots of the bonfire, but that the fire did not spread along the ground from that location to the house. Arson was suspected. Arson was suspected, but the cause of the fire was never officially determined. It is possible that the fire was not considered a matter of urgency by Deputy Frank Warden, son of Bernice Warden, Gein's last victim. When Gein learned of the incident while in detention, he shrugged and said, "Just as well." Like he didn't give a fuck.
Oh my god.
Gein?
So you think the cop did it, Frank?
Or he ordered it.
Or he ordered someone?
I feel like he ordered it, and because there's
it?
no track of where the fire walked towards the house. So it was just like, so it was 75 feet that way. The house is here, but the house got on fire. We don't know how, but it got caught on fire. I'm just saying.
Well, probably just to get rid of all the memories.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't get rid of the memories. It
No,
just gets rid of like seeing the house, the memories.
Gein's 1949 Ford sedan, which he used to haul the bodies of his victim, was sold at a public auction for $760, equivalent money of today like around $7,000. To Carnival sideshow operator Bunny Gibbons. Gibbons charged carnival goers 25 cents admission to see it.
Oh my god! So he was famous, like, oh, come see his truck.
Yeah, vengan a ver el carro del murder, the freaky one. Yeah,
the freaky dicky.
I know. Now being January of 1968, and after spending 10 years in the institution, Ed was determined competent and stand trial and proceeding began. It took 9 months to pass the preliminary matters such as suppressing evidence, filing for briefs, and appointment of counsel. But it wasn't until November that the trial started and only lasted 1 week.
Damn.
And November 14th.
I feel like that's even too long.
Yeah.
To last a week.
I think at that point is more bureaucratic paperwork than the trial itself. Like probably all the paperwork takes a while.
No, because usually the trial is legit. Like you're in the courtroom for that whole week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on November 14th, Ed was found guilty of first-degree murder for the shooting of Bernice Warden. But the court also found that on the day of the shooting, Ed was not sane. Therefore, the court concluded that Ed was not guilty by the reason of insanity, and Ed was returned to Central State Hospital.
Oh my god.
You just gotta love the system. In February 74, Ed filed a petition with the Shura County Clerk of Courts, claiming that he had now recovered his mental health and was fully competent, and there was no reason why he should remain in the hospital. A judge reviewed Ed's petition and ordered a re-examination. The judge rejected Ed's petition, and he was returned to the hospital. Ed was moved to Mendota Mental Institute in Madison of June of 1978. In 1984, Ed, being now 77 years old, was senile After a long battle with cancer, he died of respiratory failure, secondary of lung cancer, in the geriatric ward at Mendota of the 26th of July of 1984. He was considered by many at the hospital to be a model patient, mild-mannered, and always helpful. The very next day, at 6 in the morning, when only 4 attendants, Ed was laid to rest next to his mother, brother, and father at the Plainfield Cemetery.
Oh, damn. So they returned his mom's body to the cemetery?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them.
I know. Over the years, souvenir seekers chipped pieces away from his gravestone at the Plainfield Cemetery until the stone itself was stolen in the year 2000.
Why?
Because why not?
It's haunted. All those people are getting haunted.
But, hold on. This is the kicker. Because you're going to be like, of course. Of course.
They dug up his body?
No.
Oh.
We're talking about his headstone.
Oh.
It was recovered in June of 2001.
Oh, okay.
Near Seattle, Washington. Someone in Washington had his fucking tombstone.
I bet you they paid big money for that shit.
Probably.
Oh my god.
It was placed in storage at the Washoe County Sheriff's Department. The gravesite itself is now unmarked, but not unknown. And
so they didn't put it back.
No, and there's nothing there. And I've seen pictures, and I think if I'm correct, the order goes: his brother, his dad, then the mom. No,
like on top of each other.
No, like next to each other.
Oh, okay.
I think
whoa.
he is
the last one, right?
Yeah, no, I think he is in between his dad and his mom. I think he's like right in the middle.
Well, of course.
So I think is his brother, the mom, Ed, and the dad. I'm pretty sure that's how the order goes.
That's weird.
I know.
Of course, he had to be close. They put him close to his mommy.
I know. So, this infamous case soon made an impact in pop culture. Many film adaptations were created, such as Deranged in 1974, which I haven't seen.
I don't know either.
And In the Light of the Moon of the year 2000, which haven't seen this one either. The most recent adaptation for the character of Bloodyface and American Horror Story Asylum, released in 2011, which I heard is on Netflix, and I heard that American Horror Story is pretty badass. Like, it's pretty good.
Oh, they made it into American Horror Story. I won't say I love American Horror Story. I did watch American Horror Story. I watched some of their seasons because every season's different. Every season is very different. There's a season about clowns.
There's one that's John Wayne Gacy.
I know.
Sure. Yeah.
But I didn't watch that one.
I was just watching his new.
I don't like clowns because of it.
This new, you know what they did a couple years ago with Ted Bundy, that like the tapes of Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah.
They did the same, but with John Wayne Gacy. I was watching it last night. It's
I
pretty
know,
bad,
I saw you.
like badass. There are many unsolved mysteries within this case, including the death of his brother and the amount of crimes actually committed. This may be closed, but many questions are still remain unanswered, sorry. And that is the story of Edward Theodore Gein, aka the Butcher of Plainfield, or the guy from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be questions. You're just never going to know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You're never going to know because they're not here to tell you unless you took the headstone and you're probably haunted and you can probably ask them.
The one thing that weirded me out, I was like, of course, Washington.
Why? Why, of course, Washington?
Nah, I don't know. Just Seattle. Seattle's weird. I've been up there.
I've never been to Seattle.
No? Okay.
You drove through it for work.
No te pierdes nada.
You've never even been.
No, thank God, no. I think the closest that I've been was...
Then how do you even know?
Olympia.
Why are you talking shit if you've never
Olympia's
even
weird.
been there?
Olympia is already weird, but Olympia's like still like 20.
That doesn't mean anything.
Hour.
Texas, oh my God. Portland's weird, and that doesn't mean all of Oregon is weird.
Yeah, we don't claim Portland.
It's also not the capital of Oregon, just so y'all
FYI for everybody out there.
who's not an Oregonian.
I know. Any questions about him?
No.
Something that shocked you in particular? Because there's a lot of things in this thing that I was like, what?
Not really. It's just gross.
Of what he did with all the human bodies and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, that's just disgusting. Like, why do you... I mean, he was probably going to eat the heart of the lady. But he picked the wrong lady because she was a police's mom.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with the police.
Which is weird because there's the majority of the information that I found about him and her, they always put him as the cop, as the sheriff. But like in 3 different spots, it was like, oh, he was the chief deputy for the fire department of that. I'm like, what?
But the fire department wouldn't get involved in a murder.
No, but the fire department, he himself as a fire department chief, he would be like, I don't want to turn off that house. Let that fucking what else gonna say? Burn, motherfucker, burn. You know.
I guess, but he wouldn't have necessarily been able to take him to jail if he's the one that found him.
Yeah, no, that's why.
That's why I'm like saying he would have to be a police.
Uh-huh.
Because the police could do that. I don't think firefighters can. Because firefighters are just there to like help with fires and getting cats out of trees. And I'm just kidding if there's any firefighters, but that ever listen to this or whatever. But firefighters have a big role to play too.
Yeah, I feel more like he was like a cop
or
than anything else.
Unless back in the day, like sheriffs and police were like one and things were done differently.
I don't know, a lot of things.
But from what I know, firefighters can't arrest you.
No. But yeah, that is the story. So, if you guys like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share it. Give it a heart in Spotify. Rate it. Follow. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And yeah. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think we said it all.
All right. Take care, guys. Later.